I've got tea for you.
Oh, thank you.
And breakfast chocolate. Ta-da!
What a beautiful day. The birds are singing. It's just absolutely beautiful.
What are we doing today?
Today we are going exploring with a neighbour who is an ecologist and knows a lot about the area, and the trees and the plants and the animals, so hopefully he can tell us what's growing here, what's living here. And we're very excited because we're going to be dropping down into some areas we haven't really explored before.
And who's here? Who's come to visit?
Our son, Zach, is here. He's still in bed.
Yay!
You can actually hear our dog snoring.
I always think that's you in the middle of the night.
I'm not that loud.
Are you kidding? You sound like a train.
Hello, hello. Oh, how are you, brother?
Good. Nice to see you again, Mark.
Welcome.
Thank
you for having me. Hello. How are you again? Lovely to see you.
Hello!
Hey, Raven.
Hello.
How are you? Back on the mountain.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh, yeah.
So excited. We're going to go in and start recording.
Adventures galore.
Start exploring.
We're right at the top of the block here, and we're going to make our way down this spur and then striving to get down into this big system.
Yeah, fantastic.
And the air photos show us that that's all old growth forest and no signs at all of disturbance in that whole section of the property.
How exciting.
Absolutely steep.
Yeah,
They'll definitely, yeah, we'll make our way down through some pretty steep country, but it's all navigable. It's all doable. Yeah.
All right, well, I've got my adventure pants on.
So do I.
Go.
So do I. My adventure shirt.
Your adventure t-shirt.
This stuff's pretty interesting. There's been a lot of broad excavation here. Now, I can't say categorically what that is, but that type of digging where it's around root systems and it's a broad digging and a broad working of the forest floor could be long-nosed potoroos. Which are a nationally vulnerable...
Long-nosed potteroo?
Could be. The long-nosed potteroo is a primitive wallaby, and they are the cutest creature. They're very secretive, they live in dense undergrowth. It's about 30 centimetres long. It forages in the understory of our forests and woodlands. It's a specialist on truffles, which are the fruiting body of fungi. And the way to find them is to spray truffle oil around it, brings them in. The breadth of the excavation and the working around of the root systems. And they are here, look, at the top of the ridge up there and into the Kalang. I've got photos of mothers and baby potoroos from camera traps.
That's amazing.
And then see there, every like 30 centimetres there's a hack out.
There's like these little things
hacks,
here.
literally where they've pulled, a creature has gone up there. And talawoods of that size, koalas would eat. You can see what
I see what you see, but I have no idea how you looked at that and just saw it.
Time on country. The more time you spend and the more that you get your eye in upon the telltale hints of what creatures do, the more you, I guess, calibrate your perspective. So, I'm always scanning. And the thing that gave it away initially was down here. So there was a buffing. And then when you start looking, like dunk, 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 and then 2 or 3 going up there. And that's about the size that you could imagine a small to medium koala kind of going like that upwards. It's a fine, it's a fine indicator.
I can't believe that we're finding so much and we haven't even begun.
That gate was 35 metres. Yeah, it doesn't take long. The forest shows still the evidence of what they did. They firstly logged very selectively. It was manual. So, you know, there were dudes with chainsaws going into the bush and felling trees, as opposed to a machine that's the size of a house, driving through the forest, mashing all the forest, grabbing it and having its boom arm and everything. You know, these logging practices leave a lot lighter footprint on the landscape, but, you know, when you understand forests, there's still evidence around us. There are gaps in the canopy and, you know, to their credit, they left these hollow-bearing trees. So there could well be greater gliders in trees like that. The greater glider is the largest gliding marsupial on Earth. They're about the size of a cat. They are fluffy with big ears and this huge tail. They can glide for 100 metres. They are seriously cute. They're like a big teddy bear up in the tops of the trees. Classic greater glider habitat, a big old growth blackbutt. It has large hollows, large pipes and cavities in it at each of these major branches, and that's perfect habitat, not just for like greater gliders, but the owls that feed on them, other possums and gliders, bats, lots of things live in those holes in trees, and they take hundreds of years to form. This tree alone would have to be well into the centuries. Big old growth bloodwood. What's that tree? Big pink bloodwood. Oh, big.
So the bark is quite distinctive.
Absolutely. Corky and tessellated, little kind of brickwork pattern.
Yep.
And kind of a corky sponginess. Yeah, you push in and it kind of compresses. I was just looking for a...
Not edible.
Do you try and eat the tree?
The kino from it though, the sap is very medicinal.
Do you know what the sap was used for?
All sorts of topical applications. So like
insect
sores,
bites and
for dental ulcers and the like, as kind of a cleansing, as a medicinal application. Yep. And these are the fruit of the bloodwood, and all the bloodwoods have the characteristic that their fruit are like wine goblets. And they vary a bit, but they're all built upon the same general form. So when you're on the forest floor and you're finding wine goblets, you know you're around a bloodwood of some sort.
or an alky.
Or a
Alky. Alcoholic.
That's a terrible joke.
I know. Cut that.
No way.
calling a bit below us, maybe 3/4 of the way down into the gully, was the log runner, which is one of the most ancient songbirds. And they make a variety of these calls, these wit-wits. And
I recognise that sound.
Yeah, we hear that.
But it's a beautiful bird. Like, what? I don't recognise that bird. We haven't seen it, but I've definitely heard it.
sitting quietly in the forest and just being very relaxed and present, you'll get very close to these beautiful creatures.
Oh, that's so cool.
So who's got the truffle oil? The pottery ran off with the truffle oil. After it.
Good salad.
Seriously delicious.
This is my favourite place to sit in this entire walk so far because we are surrounded by old growth trees.
Oh,
Leaves.
yep. There's racing stripe on it.
Do they eat
Oh,
lettuce?
yeah.
A piece of lettuce.
I want to see if it'll eat the lettuce. No, it might suck the juice out of the lettuce.
What, a vegetarian leech?
Yeah,
It's very Bellinger.
these are rare, man.
Don't we love them?
Leeches.
We love them.
Check this out.
What have you found?
It's... Look, I'm not 100% sure, but it's pretty consistent with what koalas would do. Big blue gum. And if you look down here, we've got a mixture of scratches, and coming up through here and either side of this approach are what could be koala scratches. Some of them not that long ago, as in within maybe like a month. There, and then the next lot there, see those little pock marks there. Then there's another lot there, and they're kind of clinging on either side here. See there?
Yeah.
And
That's exciting.
if it were a goanna, they tend to be a lot more random. And you could imagine, like, you get into the headspace of the koala, and they're coming across the forest floor, and they're like, right, how do I approach this tree? And they clasp it kind of either side. There's a bit of a pathway here and on here, and these are the fresher ones. And then going further up, that's consistent with what koalas do, but without scats and the actual animal, like, you know, like I'm not gonna fib and say it's definitely a koala, but a big blue gum like this, they bloody love them. Like, this is what they really enjoy. And, you know, stepping back and thinking, well, what would a koala do coming across here? In this section here, we got like much smaller scratches, and some of these little tiny pock marks might even be where gliders have, yeah, and down
They're
in
so little.
you know, and there too. Yeah.
And what kind of gliders are these?
Oh, look, they could be sugar gliders. I mean,
Sugar gliders.
yeah,
They're so cute.
yay big, yeah. Sugar gliders are amongst our very smallest gliders. They've got some black stripes on them. They eat flowers and insects and sap, and they live in tree hollows, and they make a little yip yip noise, and they're totally beautiful little creatures that live in the forests on the east coast of Australia. Smaller one here, smaller one there. So the smooth gums are like a good clean slate, really, for checking out who's doing what.
It's amazing. You've got super good eyesight.
Just still touch wood, like all my mates and their eyes are going to reach mid to late 40s, and that's that.
Yeah, you gotta get your spectacles out.
And I'm lucky thus far. The digging here around this magnificent big old bloodwood is right around the root system, and it's quite extensive, and this is where the truffles... So we were sitting having lunch there, and immediately below us. Now, it could be just lyrebirds or log runners or other scratching birds, but the fact that it's zeroed in on the eucalypt root system, it's quite clinical. There's different ages of digging too. Some of this stuff is really quite fresh. Here and across here, so nobody's trodden down through there, so the leaf litter is peeled away. You've got signs of bioturbation, bio-living turbation churning around. And you can see here, these are the outer root systems, so whatever's been working this face has been getting to, and it could have been eating insects, it could have been truffles. If it were a brush turkey or a lyrebird or other birds and other diggers, it'd probably be a bit more random.
Right.
So I'm increasingly thinking that, there could well be potteroos here, and everything's right for them.
Do you know what these truffles look like? Because
they're tiny,
I think that's a mushroom.
pea-sized, nondescript, dark, kind of brown or black balls.
Well, it's a white ball Yeah.
That is a mushroom.
That's probably just, and they don't. Yeah, no, that's a different one.
Okay.
It's not. That's not a truffle.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Paul.
it didn't smell like a truffle to me.
Apologise, please.
Sorry, everybody. Sorry.
That's okay. We'll let it go. This could be a really good spot to be setting up a potteroo camp, putting a camera trap on a tree with truffle oil a metre or a metre and a half in front. And seriously, you can pull them in within the first night. Sometimes they're that attuned to the truffles that they'll just emerge from the forest and parade in front. And when we were doing the headwaters with the Biodiversity Embassy, we got one spot where we had mother and baby come into the, so you're talking a primitive wallaby yay big with bubba yay big, and forestry was like, no, they're not in those forests. It's like, well, they are, you know, come on guys. Bit of a transition here from the drier eucalypt with the bloodwood and the black buttons and the like down into a very wet valley floor, and in front of us it's pure subtropical rainforest, you know, old growth figs and carabines and churnwoods and all these other beautiful old growth trees.
Yeah.
Action shot. Yeah. Yeah.
The way it started was
Whoa.
that a bird or a bat did a poop which germinated up the top of the brush box, maybe even up in that knot there, and then as it germinated it started to throw roots down. And once they hit the ground they can draw upon soil-based nutrients and water.
Are they two different organisms?
Absolutely. So in the middle of that is a brush box, which is like a rainforest relative of the eucalypt, and then the lattice around it is a strangler fig. And it's using it like a living fabric, like a ladder to hold itself, and it's got canopy at the top, so it's photosynthesizing, and once its roots get down to the ground it's drawing water and nutrients from the ground. So over time, you know, maybe 100 years or whatnot, it'll just swamp it. It will suffocate the brush box that's in the middle there. But at the moment it's still perfectly...
It's all right.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a big carabine down here.
Oh my God. It's like a whole house.
It is, and I'm suspecting it's going to keep on going right around, eh?
Bloody hell. That is insane.
It is such a gem.
Hello.
Coming to you live from inside the... What sort of fig is it again?
Big tree.
Big tree.
No, but what is it?
Yellow carabine?
Yellow
Yellow carabine.
The
carabine.
reason that you can know that really quickly, they've got these knees. So a few different species have got plank buttresses, but they've got these knees. They come out and they've got like a knee. They come out and then drop. And visually when you're looking at a big buttress tree, that's what makes it, like, quickly identifies it as a yellow carabine.
It feels as though it is like this enormous, which it is, of course, living being. But there is something about it. I just want to be inside the tree. Because I don't know. Because I think like the age and height and the sheer enormity of it makes sense. But I think for me emotionally, I just want to wrap myself up in it. It's like it's a big blanket.
It's just like huge curtains of buttress. What's that funny?
Sorry. Sorry.
Wow, it is like big curtains.
Curtains of buttress.
Keep going.
It's insane.
So we're going to gently make our way down through here.
On our butts.
Yeah, or something approximating it.
On our buttress.
Off you go then. Get on your butt,
Particularly at the bottom is when it gets really sheer.
Oh my god, that's insane. That is insane.
Ooh. Careful.
Boom.
Alright, down.
One down. Oh, you're right. Yep.
Hey.
The family are reunited.
Paul,
Yes, darling.
what's the name of this creek?
This creek is called LiveWild Creek, and it's the partner of DieHappy Creek. Live wild, die happy. You made it.
It's seriously beautiful, this creek.
Stunning. Truly stunning.
Oh, these aren't the right shoes for this.
These twin giants, you know, centuries old mother trees that arc across the creek. A whole canopy filled with epiphytes. Felt ferns, heaps of different orchids. Remarkable. Very, very special place. These grottos that have a type of rainforest that once covered much of Australia. These are the last bastions, the last refuges. These are Gondwanan rainforests that once covered so much of the continent, and this entire basin around us is old growth. There's been no logging here. It hasn't changed in tens of millions of years. Amazing places.
Look at this. This is incredible. It's like a little swimming pool.
Just as I guess expected in coming around the corner here into this big open basin with deeper soils. Or just looking around us, every major tree here is 40 or more meters. Basically, subtropical rainforest maxes out at about the 50-meter mark. You know, this is because we've come from a much slottier part of your property, so ravines. And we're now in this much more open basin. So the soils are deeper and more fertile, so the trees can root down deeper, draw more nutrient and reach their richest possible, you know, their biggest expression.
Crazy. Exploring Live Wild Creek.
You've got such a muddy bottom. Wonder why?
I don't know. I want to make a joke. I don't have any. But
It's a scrub wren nest, and they often have, you've got to find the hole in them, but they've sometimes got these little colonies of, there's the hole, these little colonies of golden tip bats, and this one doesn't have it, but the golden tip bats, it was getting getting old, but that's the nest. And the golden tip-bats get in there. They're a threatened species, and they all get together in a little aggregation. And they're like helicopter bats with these little golden crisped hairs, and they just flutter like they can helicopter, and they use their sonar to read where the spiders' webs are, and then they pick the spiders off the spider web. And this is their main roost. Yeah, so the fires have really done immense harm because a third of the North Coast rainforest burnt. It meant that huge amounts of classic habitat for golden tip bats got wiped, and they've by certain kind of early indications they've really sustained a significant drop in population.
So the bats are reusing a bird's nest.
Absolutely,
Right.
and sometimes for multiple seasons. That one had obviously rotted a bit because it came away pretty quickly, but yeah, they can do that for years and years. We've probably got enough bandwidth to show you a picture. I think we do. We've got 2 or 3 bars. They're a beautiful bat. So see the
really cute.
yeah.
Actually,
So
they're
and
quite terrifying looking.
yeah, they
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know.
No, that's not cute.
I mean,
okay.
I mean-
I didn't have my glasses on.
It's cute in its own way.
exactly. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, their mothers love them.
I know. Mothers love anyone.
Oh, fuck. That's so camouflaged there. I think I walked really quite close to it. I got to there and then it's coiling like it's doing. It's got its you know, its attack pose on.
Right, we're heading up here now. Hopefully it takes us to a big tree walk.
I can actually see the sunshine on the top of the ridge. I've got a visual through here, so I think it's probably only 200.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. That would be amazing.
Because that's a dream to be able to connect from down the bottom up to all the way up to the top.
Yeah.
I really want this to be a big tree walk.
Here's the truck.
Oh my god! Look!
Oh, it made it!
It is!
We've emerged from the primordial jungle. The swamp has let us go.
Look where we are.
See this ribbon? This is our boundary. And this is Big Tree Walk. Woohoo!
There's a custodian who knows the boundaries.
Yeah. Nothing like the little red dot. Oh my god, that is fantastic. Mark, this is home tree. Come and have a look.
It's a big tallowood. Seriously big tallowood.
So this is home tree, and we haven't been able to come up here for lots of reasons. And the fact that we can actually come up straight from LiveWild Creek, straight up here. And the other reason why I love this tree, because it is home tree and the grandmother tree, is my dad's ashes are here. So I'm so delighted.
Truly fine place to be laid to rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Mark, what should we do next?
Go and look further and deeper along the southern boundary and different parts of the property, particularly where the old growth is, and get the evidence of the greater gliders being here. We know that the koalas are here. You've heard them and we've seen scratches and signs. These creatures are in critical decline. The southern greater glider has disappeared from big swathes of where it used to live. And these areas from here, from DieHappy into the Kalang headwaters and up into the New England National Park at the top of the Ballinger, they're some of the biggest remaining and most important populations of the greater glider, and they're probably disappearing quicker than even the koalas.
So what do you want us to do? So if we...
Spotlighting, this stuff called call playback, where we get out with a speaker or a megaphone, and we do playback. So we play the calls of creatures of owls and yellow-bellied gliders, because there may also be yellow-bellied gliders here. I've certainly seen enough habitat that looks to me like they could be here. And because it looks as though in the state forest next door there's quite a bit of similar habitat, it's like a seamless transition from your place into it, there's probably enough big trees with hollows and enough food and enough shelter for the yellow-bellied gliders to survive. They've probably in our region declined even more steeply than koalas or southern greater gliders. You know, a tallowood like this with brush box and blue gum and blackbutt around us, that's all really good yellow-bellied glider habitat, as well as southern greater glider habitat. This year alone, they've all been put on the National Threatened Species list. These creatures are in freefall. They've disappeared from many, many places, demonstrably. So anywhere where these creatures still exist is so important. The whole lot needs to be protected. That's actually the juncture that we're at, that every bit of forest needs protection.
Well, let's go and do that. Let's go and find them.
Yeah, it's nighttime work. It's lovely work. I mean, look, the yellow-bellied gliders, Donald Duck getting strangled.